video 23, and we're on our 4th week of our Michigan Nature Watercolor series. And today we're going to be doing our state of Michigan. We're going to do a sunset, and we're going to use our crayons for our resist, and we're going to use a little bit of elements from each of the projects that we've already done. So we've got our heart from our bird, we've got our white pine trees, and we've got our cherry blossoms coming across the background. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys all how to do this, and we're going to remember some of the techniques that we've already done, and I can't wait to get started with you. We are going to start with our black crayon, and we're going to put our hand in the center of our paper, and I don't want you to trace right up against your hand. I want to give you a nice big bubble because we're going to make our Michigan really big, okay? And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can make some jagged lines. Don't go too far in on your thumb. Follow up and around. Make it kind of squiggly right around here where your pinky is. Let's just give it a little hook because Michigan's got a little hook. And then we're going to go all the way back down. You see that big bubble I gave all the way around my hand and how much space my state takes up? And then we're just going to make the bottom of our mitten a little flat where our border is. Great. This is Michigan's Lower Peninsula, and it is surrounded by 3,300 miles of freshwater lakes all the way around. And this part here is where it is connected to the other states and the rest of the United States of America. So now we're going to take our red crayon, and just like we did in our picture of the robin, we're going to add a heart, and we're going to add the heart right where we live here in Standish, kind of up from the thumb and off to the side. And we're going to color our heart in. And we're going to color it in fully this time because we want it to really pop when we do our watercolor background, our sunset. Home sweet home. All right. Next, we're going to switch to our green crayon. We don't have a blue-green crayon like our white pines are blue-green, but we're going to draw some little white pines. Down here along the bottom of our mitten state, we're going to start with one big triangle, a medium triangle, and a small triangle. Okay. And then to give it that fluffy look, we're going to start at the tippy top, and we're going to scribble just to the outside of our triangle, and it's gonna get bigger as we go down. So we're just gonna scribble, and those little lines are gonna go just outside of the triangle. And then we're gonna go all the way down. 3 scribbly trees. And then underneath our trees, we're gonna draw a little hill along the bottom of our mitten. And there's our Michigan landscape. So we have the heart from our robin photo. We've got our white pines. We're going to take our brown and we're going to give them their very important stumps. Very important. Because we remember that the wood of the white pines is very important to Michigan's history. Okay, so we've got our heart, we've got our white pines. Now we're going to do a branch, and our branch is going to be hidden behind our mitten. So we're going to start down here, and we're going to kind of make a weird lumpy stick. We're just going to fill it in scribbly so it looks like bark. Scribbly. And it's going to come out up here at the top of our Michigan. So if we're following our stick, we're not drawing inside of the mitten. But when we get right over here to the edge of our state, we're going to do our squiggly lines to make the branch. And I think our branch is going to come out this way too. Looks good. Now let's thicken up these center branches just a little bit and add some extra lines. Oh, and don't forget, our broken crayons still color. So I'm still going to be able to finish my branch even though I was pressing just a little bit too hard. All right, make some of our sticks a little bit chubbier. Perfect. All right, and I'll wait until you have all 3 of your elements on your Michigan. So let's make sure our Michigan is nice and big in the center of our page. we've got a heart on our hometown, and your hometown might be a little bit different. We've got Standish and Pinconning here, so we'll make our heart nice and big. I'm from Bay City, so my heart would have been right here. And then we've got our 3 white pines. We've got our cherry blossom branch. We're not going to do our cherry blossoms just yet. We're going to use paint to do those. Okay, so let's get our watercolors cooking. Nice big glob of water. Rinse a nice big glob of water on the dark blue, the orange, the yellow, the pink, and the bright green today. So we've got our watercolors cooking. We've got the dark blue, the light green, and the orange. We've got the yellow and the pink. Once you have those cooking and we've all caught up on our paper, let's go ahead and move on to the next step. I'm gonna dip my brush into this yellow and load it up really nice with that puddle. And I'm gonna start right in the center of my Michigan, and I'm gonna make a nice big circle. We're gonna build up a sunset color inside of our mitten. We're gonna stay inside of our mitten with these colors right now. We've got our nice big yellow circle. I rinsed and I dabbed to change colors. I'm gonna get my water back inside my bristles, and I'm gonna go over here to the orange. I'm gonna dip it in, make sure my puddle's got lots of orange pigment in it. And I'm gonna go around my other circle, but I'm not gonna make it a circle, because if I did, I'd be painting in the bay. So I'm gonna go around, and I'm going to stay inside of my lines as best I can. And I'm gonna make that orange just a little bit thicker. And now we've got our yellow and our orange. You can even take your brush and you can swirl gently into the yellow so some of our orange starts to melt inside. I'm gonna rinse my brush. I'm gonna dab it to change my colors. Grab more water for my puddle, and I'm gonna go into my pink. I'm gonna mix it up pretty good. Got a nice pink brush, and I'm gonna go just outside that other circle, staying inside my lines, not connecting my circle there. And I'm gonna paint right over my trees. Down the thumb. I'm not gonna cover up my hill at the bottom because we are gonna make that green. I need a little more pink to get the top. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna bring my pink all the way up to the tippy top of my mitten. And look at that beautiful sunset we made. Okay, now once you've all caught up with our sunset, we can move on and add this little hill at the bottom, just a little dab of green. That's all we need today. Great. Now we've got our landscape inside of our mitten. We're gonna go back and we're gonna grab our blue colored crayon. Where are you, blue? Blue. Instead of just painting around our mitten with all the blue water we need for our Great Lakes, we're gonna add some cool elements and designs. So you can make waves like this. You can make waves like this. Or you just do lines that go around the outside of our mitten and in between our branches. Okay. And we're gonna add a little bit of bubbles. Just in random spots around your water. Let's add our bubbles. How cool. It's gonna make our water look a little bit more interesting that way. Okay. Once you've gone all the way around your Michigan and you've got your waves and your shoreline drawn out, we're gonna go back over here to the blue that's been cooking for us. And just like we did when we did our trees in the very first class, we're gonna make sure that all the rest of this paper is blue all the way up to the edges. And notice how I can paint right over my stick, and then all those little scribblies kind of come through. And see how dark blue my water is, I can use my brush and I can just keep spreading it all over the place without even dipping my brush again. I can spread it so far because I used a nice big puddle. And there's still so much thick, dark blue over here. I'm just gonna keep dragging my brush through the puddle on my paper. And I can spread this blue so far. Uh-oh, do you see those brush strokes? Do you see my lines? Now that's telling me that I need to get more puddles. So once again, water and then a color. And it's nice and loaded up again, and this is gonna be just as dark blue as my first stroke was over here. And I want it to be even, so I'm still gonna just spread that dark blue all the way around my page, up to the edges and across. And when I start to see my brush strokes again, I'll just dip it right in the puddle on my paper. So my paper doesn't get too soggy, and I can have a nice even color of blue all the way around my Great Lakes. Perfect. All right, and then I'm gonna just fill in a little bit closer to my mitten. It's okay if the water bleeds through right there just a bit, because you can always take your paper towel and take a little corner of it and just dab up the color. Dab, dab, dab. Now there's no orange. And I'll just take a little more blue and fix that space and spread it out really nice. I can follow some of my lines with the watercolor with the brush, and you might even be able to see it if I dip it again. Oh, look, see how it's getting really goopy? I need more water. So I'm gonna add just a bit more. And I'm just gonna trace some of my lines in my water all the way around in that nice dark blue. So now we can see some of the waves, some of our Michigan waves that we've done. Oh, pretty water. Okay, and now our cherry blossoms are missing from our branch, aren't they? Absolutely. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna dry my brush like we've done before, not take a puddle, but I'm gonna hit this puddle that's already here. Well, let's make it a little bit bigger. There, can you see my puddle? Let's make sure that puddle's there. Dry off our brush, because we don't want extra water. We just wanna use what's already in here. We're gonna soak it up with our paintbrush, all of it, okay? And then I'm gonna come over here to my branches, and instead of making the stamped flowers, I'm going to make the cherry blossoms look like a cherry blossom would from far away. They look big and puffy. When they're up close, you can see the shape of the flower, but from far away, they're just big, puffy looking trees. So we're just gonna smash our brush down all the way around, grab more pink, and we're gonna smash it all the way around, and maybe a little bit down here. I'm gonna grab just a little bit more water, drying my brush again, grabbing just that puddle, and I'm gonna add more pink all the way around my branches that are sticking up. And there are my cherry trees. My apple blossoms. Great, and now I'm gonna come back here to my green that I've had cooking, and we only used just a little bit of that green, didn't we? So I'm gonna dry my brush after I made my puddle again. Dry my brush, take up my puddle, soak the whole thing up, and now I'm gonna go back through, and I'm just gonna add little dots of green for the little green leaves that come through. All right, and there we go. There's our final Michigan Nature watercolor. We've got our state of Michigan, our beautiful Mitten State, our hometown. We've painted our white pine trees, and we've got our apple blossom branch through the back, and our very important Great Lakes. I've had so much fun working with you, and I hope that you guys had fun working with me too, and learned a little bit about how watercolors work and how fun it is to have our crayons resist it. I hope you learned so much about your home state, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Thank you. Okay, friends, that was it, and I hope all of your paintings look just absolutely tremendous, and you guys are so proud of yourselves because you've made it through 4 weeks and you know so much more about watercolors than you did when you started. And next time I come and see you, or next time I'm here with you on video, we're going to learn how to make our very own painting with our own imaginations of whatever you want for Michigan, okay? So start thinking of some of your favorite animals or some of your favorite places to visit in Michigan, like Conemaugh Falls, or maybe you like to see the sand dunes, or maybe you really just like playing at the beach. Are foxes your favorite? Are squirrels your favorite? Start thinking about some of your favorite parts of your state, and we'll work together to make a really cool watercolor painting in our bonus video, okay? Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye.